All right, this will be a continuation. Oops. All right. Okay. Daniel looked like he had a lot on his mind. He then said, things are very strange now. Truly, I don't care if they fire me for helping you out. You'd probably freeze if I didn't. But again, things are getting weirder than usual. Weirder than the usual. Daniel looked at the snow building up on the truck's wipers and said, no, they don't have to know. Well, I've never had anyone ride with me before who wasn't related to me or a trainer. Um, how far out here do you want me to take you? I have a headlight out, which will have to be replaced ASAP, or police could not only stop me on it, but do a search and find guns and a lot lizard with me. Lot lizard? Asked Sally, as if taken back. Believe me, you don't look like a lot lizard. You don't look like a lot lizard at all. But if it gets back to my company that I picked that one up, if the cops give me the third degree after finding out my headlight is up, and that's just yeah. Believe me, you don't look like a lot lizard at all. But it will get back to my company that I picked one up if the cops give me the third degree after finding out my headlight is out, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Because the guns, asked Sally. Right. The guns, says Daniel, as if in thought. He then looked at the gun Sally had in her hand and said, that's a nice gun you have. Are you trying to fight the system yourself? Sally looked up, then looked down. She then said, this is my boyfriend's gun. It was in the glove compartment of his car that I crashed tonight. You see, I was trying to escape from him. He wouldn't let me drive my car, so I took his car instead. In the process, found his gun. I found his gun. Daniel then said, well, you might as well buckle up and get yourself comfortable. However, trucker seats aren't the most comfortable things to sit in. If you want, I'll move my food and other stuff off the lower bunk so you can stretch out. Are you hungry? There's trail mix and homemade beef and homemade jerky. But I want to warn you about the jerky. It's pretty damn salty. I'm pretty new to this, making jerky, and unfortunately it shows with the taste. So I looked in the back of the cab, her boyfriend's gun at her side. She looked at the stuff that was on the bed she might actually try to sleep on in a few hours. Besides food, water, and clothes, she noticed a bunch of CDs and paper plates that were stacked up on each other and appeared to be spray-painted gold. One of them, she noticed, had writing on it that looked like swords and snakes. That doesn't look Japanese, Sally observed. No, it's not. It's actually Arabic. Sally found a can of marbles with only a few marbles rattling around in it. You play with marbles? She asked. Daniel smiled. If I told you what I use marbles for, you'd probably think I lost more than what is left in that can. Truckers aren't known for being artists. You're an artist? Daniel looked at the snow quickly building up and said, it's probably unfortunate, but I'm actually more of an artist than I am a trucker. The snow was coming down. The snow was coming down fast and thick. Daniel said, Gad, we better get out of here or I'll have to put on chains. Have you put on chains before? Have you put on chains on? Have you put? Have you had to put chains on your rig before?" asked Sally. Daniel looked down and shook his head from side to side. "No, I haven't. Not even on my car when I had one." "Well, I'll be back soon. I got to do an inspection." When Daniel got out of his cab, Sally scanned the inside of the truck to see if she could find the guns Daniel talked about. As she searched, Daniel was out treating the inspection of his truck like he did in what is called a pre-trip inspection, but mostly starting on the driver's side of the truck. But being that it was now nighttime, Daniel used a flashlight, making it so he could find the damage inflicted on his truck earlier that night. Daniel discovered a large scrape on the trailer, along with fresh dents. When he got back to the truck, he also saw that the back of the trailer actually seemed to be in pretty good shape, in spite of taking such violent rams. The metal that held the license plate was bent under a bit, and one of the trailer tires was flat. Man, what kind of caliber did they use? He wondered himself. He wondered to himself. Daniel noticed on another tire that there was some rubber missing, as if it had been shot off. There was also some bullet holes in the doors of the trailer. Being that it was cold out, Daniel felt there was no problem with the potatoes inside. Definitely a DOT fail, Daniel sighed. When Daniel made it to the front of the truck, he noticed that the light was crushed out to the point where replacing it probably wouldn't work. Seeing such damage made Daniel mutter, "Maybe I can get into science under an alias?" From the cab, Sally looked at Daniel standing at the broken headlight and noticed that he seemed to be praying. He then started walking and climbed back into the truck. Did you find something wrong with your truck?" Then you put the rigging gear, then said, "Looks like I've got more than just a headlight to worry about. Well, I'll leave it up to God if I get pulled over by a bear." As Daniel put the truck in gear, he seemed bothered. As he tried to think of other things to keep his mind off his predicament, he asked Sally what had brought her out onto this stretch of Mars Road. "Mars Road?" asked Sally. "Well, Mars is my name for Nevada," explained Daniel. "Well, Mars is the name for Nevada," Daniel explained. "As a matter of fact, I name all the states I go through after planets, real and fictional. But to me, the name Mars just really seems to fit Nevada." With that, Sally said she had made a bad mistake by moving in with the guy when she lost her job. A guy who seemed really great at first, but more and more seemed to become a frustrated cult leader. Frustrated cult leader? Yes, I call him a frustrated cult leader because I think that if he had 50 more IQ points, he'd be a real cult leader. "What kind of cult leader?" asked Daniel. "A religious cult leader, one who is really good at throwing guilt trips on you and trying to control you or threatening you with violence if you don't jump at his beck and call." As Sally went on and on, Daniel seemed to not be listening, but he was. Daniel then asked, "So you moved in with this guy to be his roommate?" "I couldn't afford the place I was staying and thought he could be a good roommate, but when I moved in with him, he changed. Or his true colors started showing. Take your pick. He started treating me like he was a jealous husband, becoming incredibly controlling. When he wouldn't let me leave by disabling my car and started acting crazier than usual. Well, it was then I tried to make my escape. I thought he was going to kill me. Didn't just want to go to the police in his car? Asked Daniel. I just wanted to get as far away from Idaho as I could. I guess you could say that I went a bit crazy myself. Besides, the only thing Twin Falls has going for it is that big crack in the ground. As Ellie talked, Daniel thought he could see her point of view. He refrained from preaching to her of what he felt she had done wrong because he felt what he was going through was far worse and possibly very stupid. That it was his fault as well. He felt he had no stone to throw at her at all. We do stupid things sometimes, said Daniel. Do you think what I did was stupid? Asked Ellie. Well, said Daniel, you haven't given me enough details for me to judge. Besides, what is done is done. When he pulled his hand away from the stick shift after putting the truck in gear, Sally laughed. Then she swore. What happened? Asked Daniel. You want to know something really stupid? She asked. Go for it, said Daniel. In my desperation to get out of there, I forgot to take along my pin. Must have been a special pin, said Daniel. Was it gold-plated with diamonds or something? No, said Daniel. No, said Sally. It was actually one of those old pins with a flash drive in it. A flash drive? Asked Daniel. You had a pin with a flash drive? Yeah, and it had my diary on it. If my boyfriend finds it and plays it, well, I really don't think he'll want to see me again. Pretty rough stuff you said about him, true? Asked Daniel. Just the truth, said Sally, looking at the grandpa. Daniel thought a bit and said, a flash drive and a pin. I bet it's easier to access than where I have my special flash drive. Really? What's special about it? Sally was intrigued. Daniel kept one hand on the wheel while grabbing at something yellow and chubby that was tucked away on a lower shelf near his beverage holders. Daniel started saying in a baby voice, Pika. Whoops. I think we'll go a little further here. Yeah. Pika bee. Daniel pulled out a small Pikachu and started waving it in the air near Sally. He continued saying, Pika bee and Pika. Sally, disconcerted, asked, what? Are you crazy? Daniel replied, Pikachu, and he tossed the Pikachu doll at her. Pikachu? A trucker with a Pikachu doll? Sally picked up the doll. Pika bee. Daniel continued, looking straight ahead at the snowy road. Yeah, a trucker with a Pikachu doll. I used to... Oh, I've got to stop it here. Whoa. I can keep going a little further. I'll get back to this later.